Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle a super common problem in the world of cloud migration. What do you do with those critical, older applications that just weren't born in the cloud? We're going to break down Azure Files, a service that's pretty much the perfect bridge for those tough-to-move legacy apps.
I bet you've got one of these. We've all seen it, right? That one piece of software. Maybe it's for accounting, maybe it's some old manufacturing system, but it is absolutely essential to the business. You'd love to get it into Azure, but there's a huge catch. It's built to read and write files to a good old-fashioned network share using SMB. It's basically stuck on-prem.
So this exact scenario, it leads to what I like to call the legacy migration headache. It's a story I've seen play out so many times, and it almost always starts with a team choosing the wrong tool for the job. And that simple mistake can turn a straightforward project into a total nightmare.
Okay, let's set the stage. The goal seems simple enough, right? Just take this super important file-based app and get it running in Azure. So you can get all those cloud benefits, scalability, reliability, and ditching some of that data center hardware. The team's all fired up, ready to make it happen.
And this is where things get interesting. There's a huge disconnect. The application, it speaks a really simple language. Open a file, write to the file, close the file. It's expecting a standard SMB share. But the team, thinking, hey, cloud storage is cloud storage, tries to point it at Azure Blob Storage. The problem? Blob Storage doesn't speak file share. It speaks API. It is literally trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
And this quote just says it all. The team hits a brick wall. They realize that to make this work, they can't just move the app. They have to fundamentally re-engineer it. We're talking months of development, rewriting core parts of the application just to translate simple file commands into complex API calls. The whole project grinds to a halt, the budget is in trouble, and that little headache, yeah, it's a full-blown migraine now.
But then, after all that struggle, comes the revelation. The team discovers Azure Files, the tool that was built for this exact problem from day one. It's the hero our story needed.
So what is Azure Files? Well, it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. It's a fully managed file share that lives in the cloud, and you can access it using the exact same standard protocols, SMB and NFS, that your on-prem apps have been using for, decades. It speaks your legacy app's native language. No translation needed.
And this is the magic right here. Because Azure Files speaks the right language, you don't have to touch your application's code, not a single line. You can literally lift the app from your old server and shift it onto an Azure VM, and then just point it to an Azure file share instead of the old file server. That's it. The nightmare of code rewrites, it's just gone.
Okay, so conceptually, it's a perfect match. But how does this all work in the real world? Let's do a quick high-level look at how you'd actually get this set up in your environment.
The really cool part is just how flexible it is. You can mount an Azure file share from pretty much anywhere. Got your app on an Azure VM? Just map the drive. Modernizing it into a web app on App Service, or maybe putting it in containers on AKS, they can all connect to that same central file share. You can even connect from your servers that are still on premises for some of those hybrid scenarios. It's super versatile.
And getting started? It's ridiculously straightforward. Compared to rewriting your app, this is a breath of fresh air. It's really just 3 steps. You pop into the portal and create the share, you grab the credentials, and then you mount it in your OS just like any other network drive you've ever used. Simple, fast, and familiar.
Plus, you're not stuck with a one-size-fits-all deal. Azure Files has different performance tiers. You can go with Standard, which is based on regular hard drives and is perfect for most general-purpose stuff. But if your app is really demanding, it needs super fast I/O and low latency, you can kick it up to the Premium tier, which is all backed by high-performance SSDs. And that brings us to the resolution of our little story and really the most important takeaway from all of this. It all comes down to knowing you have the right tool for the right job. So let's put this into a super simple decision guide you can use.
Let's break this down. It's simple. If you are doing a lift and shift of an app that needs a shared file system, Azure Files is your go-to. It speaks SMB or NFS. Now, if you're building a brand new cloud-native app that's going to deal with tons of unstructured data, then Azure Blob, with its REST API, is what you want. And finally, if you just need a super fast, dedicated hard drive for a single VM, well, that's exactly what Azure Disks are for.
So, the bottom line is this. Don't try to force your app to learn a new language. It's a waste of time. Instead, pick the cloud storage that already speaks its language. I promise you, it'll save you time, money, and a massive, massive headache.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Look around your own IT environment. Which of those applications that you always thought were unmigratable, the ones that are just stuck, which of those could you finally unlock and bring into the cloud now that you know there's a tool designed to be the perfect bridge? Thanks for tuning in.